John Winston Ono Lennon was born John Winston Lennon on 9 October 1940 and died on 8 December 1980. He was an English singer, songwriter and peace activist who gained worldwide fame as the founder, co-lead vocalist, and rhythm guitarist of the Beatles. His songwriting partnership with Paul McCartney remains the most successful in musical history. In 1969, he started the Plastic Ono Band with his second wife, Yoko Ono. After the Beatles disbanded in 1970, Lennon continued as a solo artist and as Ono's collaborator. Born in Liverpool, Lennon became involved in the skiffle craze as a teenager. In 1956, he formed his first band, The Quarrymen, which evolved into the Beatles in 1960. He was initially the group's de facto leader, a role gradually ceded to McCartney. Lennon was characterized for the rebellious nature and acerbic wit in his music, writing, drawings, on film and in interviews. In the mid-1960s, he had 2 books published, in his own right and a Spaniard in the works, both collections of nonsensical writings and line drawings. Starting with 1967's All You Need Is Love, his songs were adopted as anthems by the anti-war movement and the larger counterculture. From 1968 to 1972, Lennon produced more than a dozen records with Ono, including a trilogy of avant-garde albums, his first solo LP John Lennon Plastic Ono Band, and the international top 10 singles, Give Peace a Chance, Instant Karma, Imagine, and Happy Xmas, War is Over. Controversial through his political and peace activism, after moving to New York City in 1971, his criticism of the Vietnam War resulted in a 3-year attempt by the Nixon administration to deport him. In 1975, Lennon disengaged from the music business to raise his infant son Sean, and in 1980, returned with the Ono collaboration Double Fantasy. He was shot and killed in the archway of his Manhattan apartment building by a Beatles fan, Mark David Chapman. 3 weeks after the album's release, in 2002, Lennon was voted 8th in a BBC poll of the 100 Greatest Britons, and in 2008, Rolling Stone ranked him the 5th greatest singer of all time. In 1987, he was inducted into the Songwriters Hall of Fame. Lennon was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame twice, as a member of the Beatles in 1988 and as a solo artist in 1994.
This tour is going to be all too short for your fans here. And the next thing we'll see of the Beatles is the film.
The film, yes.
Now, tell us about the film. We haven't heard a great deal about it.
Well, you know, it's us sort of meant to be acting, which we can't, but they've got a good director, you know, so they sort of almost make you act, you know, they cut it so well. You know, you do about an hour's rubbish, and he takes a minute out of it, and it looks as though you're doing quite well.
Now, is it an ad-lib film? Did you just go onto the set and carry on, or is there a storyline?
Some of it was ad-lib. Some, you know, they definitely had a script. It was written by Alan Owen, who writes good TV scripts.
Yeah.
And, well, we changed a lot, but it was a bit of trouble for the established actors, because we wouldn't give them the tagline, you know.
Well, Wilfred Bramble, of course, Steptoe.
Yeah.
He was in the movie with you. Did he have any problems with you as a group carrying on like this?
Just the first, till we got to know him, you know, but he's one of, you know, one of those good people that can fit in anywhere, and he fits in good. Yeah. And he sort of got, you know, we found our level.
Had you a chance to get to know him, or vice versa?
Oh yes, we got to know him. Well, we were on it for about 8 weeks, you know. You do get, and he's in it throughout the film. And we got to know him well, you know. He's a laugh.
Now, in some of the press and television interviews you did yesterday, someone said to you, "Are you religious?" I think it was you, said no. Now, does this mean you don't believe in God, or you don't believe in religion?
Well, you know, we settled for calling ourselves agnostics because we don't, you know.
Yeah. And another question you were popped yesterday was about sport. Now, Australia's a great sport-loving nation. I think a lot of people may have been a little bit upset by your answer that you didn't like sport.
Well, we can't be everything to everybody, you know, in all times, or whatever they say. We're agnostic about sport, too.
What about when you were young, when you were kids in Liverpool? Did you pursue any sport then?
Oh, yes, when you're a kid. I mean, it's not sort of a big, it's just something to do. And we used to play football, and I did when I was about, gave it up at 14, you know. That's when you discover the other things, isn't it?
Well, I was talking to Mimi on the plane coming over, and she said that when you were young, you were very serious. You did a lot of writing as an 8-year-old, and some of the stuff in your book, actually, she said you'd written when you were 8. Is this true?
Well, no, she got it wrong there, Mimi, didn't you, if you're watching? No, I was never serious. I was serious about writing, you know, although I laughed when I wrote it. But she means serious in as much as I said, keep it and stop throwing it away,
yes, yes.
You know. But I was never serious.
Now, how did you meet up with the rest of the boys? You've known them all for quite a long time.
I met Paul when I was about 16, I think. I was playing with this group at a church social agnostic church social, and he just came up because, you know, to watch. And he knew somebody that I knew, and they introduced us, and he knew the words to one of the songs that I didn't know. I said, do you want to join the group? And he did. And then George came about a year later, you know.
And when did you meet up with Ringo then?
Ringo we met in Hamburg. He was playing with another group, and, you know, we thought we'd liked his style, but we'd only just got up the other drummer, so we couldn't do anything about it. But when we got the chance, we did.
Well, now the four of you are back together in Australia. Obviously, the reunion yesterday was a very happy one for all concerned.
Yes.
I think the three of you had missed him. This is the impression I've gotten all along, that there was something missing, or there seemed to be, and it was obviously Ringo.
Yeah, well, it's, you know, it's bound to be. We've been together now, you know, all right. And it is funny when one of you is missing, even though Jimmy did well, you know. Obviously, it's not the same as the four of you together.
The crowds gave Jimmy a wonderful reception in Adelaide.
They did, they were very good.
But then when I think it was Paul, or was it you, said that Ringo was coming,
yeah.
They went wild, and then they quietened down because they realised they wouldn't see him.
Yeah, it's a shame.
Yes. Now, getting back to your book for a moment, you've been compared to many famous writers. How do you feel about this?
Well, it's flattering, you know, but I haven't heard of half of them. I've heard of some of them, you know, but it's just good, you know. I don't mind who they compare it with.
And what gave you the idea to compile all the stuff you had and publish it?
Well, I'd got these odd bits, you know, sort of hanging around the house, and then we did these weeks in different seaside resorts in England, and we were stuck in the hotel like we are now. And so I just started doing more than I would normally, till it seemed it was piling up, you know. Then I started doing drawings to go with it, and then I sort of forgot about it. Then I met this American who was a writer, and I was talking to him, and he said, well, you know, let's have a look. And he showed it to a publisher, and they said, oh, stick it together, and we got a book, and that was it.
And it's just been released in Australia.
Released is the right word, isn't it?
It certainly has. Has your picture on the front, and I guess, do you think your fans will buy it because it's your book and understand it? Do you think there's much hope of expecting this?
Well, this was the sort of problem in England. The publishers thought the fans would buy it. I wasn't sure, you know. I just thought some of them would buy it, because some of, you know, they're not all stupid, you know, most of them are at school still. So at school your brain's more active normally than it is when you've left school and gone to work and gone, you know, in the factory now, isn't it? So I thought it'd be a fifth form kind of thing, you know, but it...
And it has been well received then by the teenagers who've watched.
Yes, they understand it. I get a lot of letters written in that sort of, you know, back to me in the same kind of language.
Well, critics have been saying it's sick.
Well, I mean... Some of it is sick, you know,
it
so
is,
what?
Yes,
There's a lot of sickness about it, isn't there?
This has happened in Australia.
Yes.
Does it upset you or the boys? Do you feel that you suffer because of this?
Oh, we don't suffer. We're bound to be a bit less healthy than people who'll be there. I mean, there's so many good things, you know, to make up for it. Who's moaning? Me.
Now, when this tour's over, then you'll have a bit of a chance to get out and get some air, as you say, with your family.
I'm not sure, you see, because it's when the tour finishes, we go back and do the premiere of the film. It's one of those periods that Brian says, I'm not quite sure what we've got. And it all sort of fills up gradually with TV and radio. So.
Now, you mentioned Brian. I was going to mention it. How did you get How did you get associated with Brian Epstein, and how much do you feel you owe him?
Well, we owe him 1 and 6 exactly, but we owe a lot of our success to him, you know, a great deal.
Yes.
Because I think we might have been able to make hit records because we would have written the songs anyway. This one's run out, and but we wouldn't have gone. We wouldn't have. He controlled us, you see. Anybody that tried to manage us earlier on couldn't get through to us, you know. It'd last about a week, and we say, we're not having you.
So he's more or less gotten you and taken full control.
Yes, but he didn't take over as some people do, right, as if he just sort of walked in and said, right, cut your hair like that, put this suit on, any of that. You know, we were already there, but he just people sort of said we were dirty. Well, we weren't dirty, we were just in jeans because we couldn't afford anything else, you know.
A lot of people have said that Epstein has emerged as a genius of show business. Do you agree with this?
Well, I'm a bit odd, you know, I don't like using the word genius, but there's so many geniuses on LP covers and things like that, that I think he's done more than anybody expected him to do, which entitles people that don't know what's happening to call him a genius. He's very good. I wouldn't say he's a genius.
I want to ask you one direct personal question. Is he a friend?
Oh, definitely. You see, we can't get on with anybody for a long time unless they are a friend, because we're so closely knit.
Well, I've noticed this with the others in your entourage. How many of them are really very close to you?
Well, Neil, he's our personal road manager. Well, he was in from the start. He went to school with Paul and George. And the other fellow, Derek, we've known for about a year. But he's sort of one of those people that clicked as soon as you meet him, you know. So that, and Malcolm, we've known from the cabin. He carries the guitars round, you know, and all that. Well, he used to work at the cabin, the big bouncer, throwing all the teddy boys out, you know.
Well, John, I've said it 100 times already too, but I hope you have happy memories of your Australian trip when you get home and can think about it.
Thank you, Malcolm.
And
We will do.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you.
At the age of 15, Lennon formed a skiffle group, the Quarrymen. Named after Quarry Bank High School, the group was established by Lennon in September 1956. By the summer of 1957, the Quarrymen played a spirited set of songs, made up of half skiffle and half rock and roll. Lennon first met Paul McCartney at the Quarrymen's second performance, which was held in Woolton on the 6th of July at the St. Peter's Church Garden Fete. Lennon then asked McCartney to join the band. McCartney said that Aunt Mimi was very aware that John's friends were lower class, and would often patronize him when he arrived to visit Lennon. According to McCartney's brother Mike, their father similarly disapproved of Lennon, declaring that Lennon would get his son into trouble. McCartney's father nevertheless allowed the fledgling band to rehearse in the family's front room at 20 Fortland Road. During this time, Lennon wrote his first song, Hello Little Girl, which became a UK top 10 hit for The Foremost in 1963. McCartney recommended his friend George Harrison to be the lead guitarist. Lennon thought that Harrison, then 14 years old, was too young. McCartney engineered an audition on the upper deck of a Liverpool bus, where Harrison played Raunchy for Lennon and was asked to join. Stuart Sutcliffe, Lennon's friend from art school, later joined as bassist. Lennon, McCartney, Harrison and Sutcliffe became the Beatles in early 1960. In August that year, the Beatles were engaged for a 48-night residency in Hamburg, in West Germany, and were desperately in need of a drummer. They asked Pete Best to join them. Lennon's aunt, horrified when he told her about the trip, pleaded with Lennon to continue his art studies instead. After the first Hamburg residency, the band accepted another in April 1961, and a third in April 1962. As with the other band members, Lennon was introduced to Preludin while in Hamburg, and regularly took the drug as a stimulant during their long, overnight performances. Brian Epstein managed the Beatles from 1962 until his death in 1967. He had no previous experience managing artists, but he had a strong influence on the group's dress code and attitude on stage. Lennon initially resisted his attempts to encourage the band to present a professional appearance, but eventually complied, saying, "I'll wear a bloody balloon if somebody's going to pay me." McCartney took over on bass after Sutcliffe decided to stay in Hamburg, and Best was replaced with drummer Ringo Starr. This completed the four-piece lineup that would remain until the group's breakup in 1970. The band's first single, "Love Me Do," was released in October 1962 and reached number 17 on the British charts. They recorded their debut album, "Please Please Me," in under 10 hours on the 11th of February 1963, a day when Lennon was suffering the effects of a cold, which is evident in the vocal on the last song to be recorded that day, "Twist and Shout." The Lennon-McCartney songwriting partnership yielded 8 of its 14 tracks. With a few exceptions, one being the album title itself, Lennon had yet to bring his love of wordplay to bear on his song lyrics, saying, "We were just writing songs, pop songs with no more thought of them than that, to create a sound." And the words were almost irrelevant. In a 1987 interview, McCartney said that the other Beatles idolized Lennon. "He was like our own little Elvis. We all looked up to John. He was older and he was very much the leader. He was the quickest wit and the smartest." The Beatles achieved mainstream success in the UK early in 1963. Lennon was on tour when his first son, Julian, was born in April. During their Royal Variety Show performance, which was attended by the Queen Mother and other British royalty, Lennon poked fun at the audience. "For our next song, I'd like to ask for your help. For the people in the cheaper seats, clap your hands, and the rest of you, if you'll just rattle your jewelry." After a year of Beetlemania in the UK, the group's historic February 1964 US debut appearance on The Ed Sullivan Show marked their breakthrough to international stardom. A 2-year period of constant touring, filmmaking, and songwriting followed, during which Lennon wrote 2 books, in his own right and a Spaniard in the works. The Beatles received recognition from the British establishment when they were appointed members of the Order of the British Empire (MBE). In the 1965 Queen's Birthday Honours, Lennon grew concerned that fans who attended Beatles concerts were unable to hear the music above the screaming of fans, and that the band's musicianship was beginning to suffer as a result. Lennon's "Help" expressed his own feelings in 1965. "I meant it. It was me singing, 'Help.' He had put on weight. He would later refer to this as his Fat Elvis period, and felt he was subconsciously seeking change. In March that year, he and Harrison were unknowingly introduced to LSD when a dentist, hosting a dinner party attended by the two musicians and their wives, spiked the guests' coffee with the drug. When they wanted to leave, their host revealed what they had taken, and strongly advised them not to leave the house because of the likely effects. Later, in a lift at a nightclub, they all believed it was on fire. Lennon recalled, "We were all screaming, hot and hysterical." In March 1966, during an interview with Evening Standard reporter Maureen Cleave, Lennon remarked, "Christianity will go. It will vanish and shrink. We're more popular than Jesus now. I don't know which will go first, rock and roll or Christianity." The comment went virtually unnoticed in England but caused great offense in the US when quoted by a magazine there 5 months later. The furore that followed, which included the burning of Beatles records, Ku Klux Klan activity and threats against Lennon, contributed to the band's decision to stop touring.
Family flew around the television because I only really lived with an auntie, and we didn't get a TV till I was going out and didn't really watch it. But I mean, it was going on all around me.
Are we rehearsing?
Or are we on?
We're on.
My houseboat and I take great pleasure in announcing this lovely ship.
Sir Laurence Olivier, director of the National Theatre, took a gamble on the play for their triple bill. It came from Lennon's books, in his own right, and A Spaniard in the Works, which came out 3 years ago. They are collections of stories and poems peppered with imaginative and irreverent distortions of the words, phrases and names that are part of our everyday reading, listening and viewing. BBC Panorama, Shamrock Wombs, and Jack the Nipple, alias Jack the Ripper. There's satire and melancholy and Lennon's eccentric drawings. The play weaves the verse and the prose into a picture of a boy growing up. On one side it shows his telly-fixated family, the human vegetables. On the other, the dreams and the fantasies he uses to escape from them. It's like looking at the cliches of post-war Britain in a hall of mirrors provided by Lennon's warped language. This was the achievement of director Victor Spinetti.
When I saw the rehearsal of it, I got quite emotional, you know, as if I'd written it. I mean, I knew in my heart of hearts who was who and what the book was saying, but not enough. I was too involved with it when it was written, and any criticism it had was either just rubbish or still only writing about what was on the paper. So it took something like this to happen to make me see what I was about then.
What was interesting about it to me is the play was brought to me to act in, you see. And when I read it, I began to feel, by reading the poems and the stories, the kind of things that happened to me as a kid, and the kind of things I heard, and thank God it corresponded with when John came to see it, the kind of things that influenced him. And the most important line in it is really the influences upon us, the things that make us what we are, make you what you are now, or make us what we were, the things that we have heard, you know, as kids.
Well, an awful lot of the play is about radio and TV.
Well, I mean, that's all I ever heard, didn't I?
Yeah.
I mean, you go home...
Comic books,
Yeah.
the church.
Your comic books.
Your church.
Your classic comics.
Yeah, your classic comics.
Your Beatles.
Your school.
Your school, your pub, and your TV, and your radio.
Exactly.
And that was it.
The funny thing, you didn't put in pop music.
No, because up till
before.
then, it hadn't hit me. Up till...
This is before.
Pop music didn't hit me till I was
Yeah, but
16, and this is all before the things that happened before 16. Really.
But it's not really John's childhood, it's all of ours, really, isn't it, John?
It is, we're all one.
No, but I mean,
Nick,
isn't it?
we're all
you know,
one, aren't we?
No, but it is, you know.
I mean, what's going on?
There's another thing about this boy, and that is he won't talk plain English. He invents his own language,
Yeah.
which is what you did when you started writing, when your book started coming out.
Well, yeah, that was just a hangover from school, you know. I mean, I used to make the lads laugh with that scene, talking like that, and writing poetry like that. I used to write them and just give them to friends to laugh at, and that was the end of it. So when they all go down in the book, well, it turns into a book and into a play, etc., etc. But it's just my style of humour.
Instead of saying, for example, as I was going to, say for sample.
For
Why
sample,
not?
yeah. And he was astounded aghast.
Yeah.
Well,
that.
some of them is because I was never any good at spelling all my life, you know. I never quite got the idea of spelling. English and writing, fine, but actually spelling the words. So, and also if I typed a lot of the book, and I can only do it very slowly with the finger, so the stories would be very short because I couldn't be bothered going on. And also, I'd spell it as you say it, like Latin, really.
Yes.
You know, or just try and do it the simplest way to get it over with, because all I'm trying to do is tell a story. And what the words is spelt like is irrelevant, really. But if they make you laugh because the word used to be spelt like that, that's great. But the thing is the story and the sound of the word.
A lot of people wrote about your book and said, oh, James Joyce, Edward Lear, and so on. What did you think when they said that?
Well, when they said James Joyce, I must have come across him at school, but we hadn't done him. Like, I remember doing Shakespeare, I remember doing so-and-so, I remember doing Chaucer a bit, but I don't, or somebody like him doing funny words. I don't remember Joyce, you see, so the first thing they say, oh, he's read James Joyce, you know, so I hadn't. So the first thing I do is buy Finnegan's Wake and read a chapter, and it was great, you know, and I dug it, and I felt as though he's an old friend, but I couldn't make right through the book, you know. And so I read a chapter of Finnegan's Wake, and that was the end of it, so now I know what they're talking about. But I mean, he just didn't stop it.
What?
Yeah.
What actually, though, had you read that you know was important to you when you were young?
Only kids' books, you know. Alice in Wonderland. The poems were all from Jabberwocky, started me into that kick.
They did.
And drawing, I started trying to draw like Ronald Searle when I was about 8. So there was Jabberwocky and Ronald Searle I was turning into by the time I was 13. You know, I was determined to be Lewis Carroll with a hint of Ronald Searle.
Yeah, were you a Sherlock Holmes reader?
No, I had a holiday after we'd first made it big as Beatles in Tahiti, and there was nothing else on the boat books and Tahiti and all those islands, great. But I still got into reading. So I was writing Spaniard in the works, and I knew I never got past a story longer than a page. So I read a whole stack, sort of the madman's Sherlock Holmes, where you get all the stories in one, and realised that every story was the same story. So I just wrote one Shamrock Holmes after 3 weeks of Sherlock Holmes in Tahiti, and that was the end of it.
There's a very, very sad poem at the end of the play about Khaki Hargreaves, who is some sort of person whose name changes during the poem, who's gone, lost. Who was Khaki Hargreaves?
Well, nobody, you know. It was Khaki or Kathy or Tammy, so it was all those people. But the point is that you got it, the sadness that I wrote into it. But after I'd written it, you write something, a song or anything, and you get the sadness, and then you perform it or you put it on paper, and then that's gone. And the only way you get the joy back of writing it, or the sadness back, is when somebody like Victor or somebody else comes and reads it to you, or acts it out. Like when I first saw the rehearsal of the play, and they said these words back to me, and I got the sadness from Khaki Hargreaves like I'd never heard it before.
You wrote that one when you were very young?
Yes, that was sort of pre-Beatle, 18, 19.
And have you written lately?
Well, I write, I think, all the time, so, I mean, it's the same. I actually don't put it on paper so much these days. But, I mean, it goes into songs, a lot of the same energy that went into those poems. But I don't know what I actually do with the thoughts, but they come out either on film or on paper or on tape. I've just got lots of tape, which I suppose if I put onto paper, it'd be a book. But it's just a matter of, do I want to make those tapes into paper or make the tapes into records?
Does it feel the same to you when you're writing something on paper and when you're writing a song lyric?
It does now. In the old days, I used to think of songwriting was this, you know, and I love you and you love me, and my writing was something else, you know, even if I didn't think of it quite like that. But then I just realised through Dylan and other people, Bob Dylan, not Thomas, and that it is the same thing, you know. That's what I didn't realise, being so naive, and that, you know, you don't write pop songs and then you do that and then you do that. That everything you do is the same thing, so do it the same way. But sometimes I'll write lyrics to a song first, and then I'll get the same feeling as Khaki Hargreaves or a poem, and then write the music to it after. So then it's a poem sung. But some of the time, sometimes the tune comes, and then you just put suitable words to fit the tune. If the tune's doodle-doodle-doodle, and you have shagaboo-doo-cha, you know, you have sound words then, just the sound of it. Because it is all sound. Everything's vibrations, I believe. You know, everything is sound, really, or vision. And the difference between sound and vision I'm not quite sure about, but it's all just
You live in a...
Yes. Well, I'm just aware that is going on all the time, you know, like that camera's purring and those people are humming over there, and you're breathing and inhaling and he's humming and I'm talking on a So all the time this is going on like this all the time. And so I'm aware of that, really.
The boy hates a lot of things. And in a way, you could say you were attacking these things, like organised religion, the way people teach you in school.
I feel the same now, really, about organised religion, education, and all those things that everybody's still laughing at. But I mean, I expressed it that way then. I don't know how I'd express it now. You know, it'd be slightly different, really.
But there's a tremendous amount of compassion in his writing, which I love. It really is saying, come on, do what you want to do.
Because, I mean, I've always sort of suspected that there was a God, even when I thought it was an atheist. You know, I didn't have, just in case. But I believe it, so, I mean, I am full of compassion. But you can still sort of dislike things. I just hate things less, sort of, I can't think of the word, strenuously than I did. I know, I haven't got as big a chip about it, because maybe I've escaped out of it a bit. I think all our society is run by insane people for insane objectives. You know, and I think that's what I sussed when I was 16 and 12, way down the line. But I expressed it differently all through my life. It's the same thing I'm expressing all the time. But now I can put it into that sentence that I think we're being run by maniacs for maniacal ends, you know. If anybody can put on paper what our government and the American government, etc., and the Russian, Chinese, what they are actually trying to do, you know, and what they think they're doing, I'd be very pleased to know what they think they're doing. I think they're all insane, you know, but I'm liable to be put away as insane for expressing that. You know, that's what's insane about it. I mean, don't you agree?
I do.
It's insane, you know. It's not just a bit strange, it's just insane.
And that's the
And nobody knows all these people in the street, and half the people watching this are going to be saying, oh, what's he saying, what's he saying? You know, that you are being run by people who are insane, and you don't know.
The real world is so insane that the fantasy world becomes, you know, something much better.
Yeah.
We are living in insane times, aren't we? You know, we really are.
Yeah, and the thing that you feel all the way through is that there's this boy trying to get out.
Sure.
Is that what
Well,
you...
I did, you see. I got out, is the joke. But that's just a sort of picture of somebody who's still in it.
Yeah.
I mean, you
all
get
the
out of
time
your
he's
mind.
dreaming his way out.
Well, I
He
mean, you
isn't-
do, till you actually physically get out of it.
You dream your way out into being Sherlock Holmes or...
Whatever.
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 And when the boy leaves at the end, I don't see him going into reality. I think his reality is his close-knit family locked up in television, locked up in those... He's going into fantasy, which I think is the real world.
And at the end of the play, there's this big family group, and there's a great big family row.
Is there?
What's
Yeah.
the situation?
Brummers driving.
Oh, Brummers driving.
Be a golfer.
It's all about Brummers driving.
Yeah.
Do tell us about Brummers driving.
Well, Brummers driving is Brummers driving, all those jobs that people have that they don't want. And there's probably about 90% Brummers drivers watching in at the moment.
Yeah.
But you don't have to be a Brummers driver, you see. It depends how involved in Brummers driving you are. But Brummers driving, Paul explained at the beginning of the book, is it doesn't, you know, what does he say? He was saying, what is Brummers driving? It isn't anything. And
But
that's the
it's
bit
grafting. It's doing
true
a
to
job.
Lawrence
that-
too, doesn't it?
Doing what your dad
Brummers
told
So Lawrence said, I have no idea what Brummers driving means. What is Brummers driving? I said, it's any kind of job you have to graft at, like going to a steelworks or to a coal mine and follow your father, you know.
The universal sorrow just hits you about once a week now, bang.
Yeah.
And then you say, oh, well, and then you're back to, well, get on with it, you know, get on with it.
And laugh.
Well, I mean, there are laughs to compensate, because if there weren't, I mean, it'd be very melancholy.
How long do you think you can go on being a practicing Beatle?
It depends how I feel and how they feel, you know, when it happens. I mean, there comes a time when it's time for a Beatle product, and we always make that decision whether to make it or not, you know. Because sometimes we go through hell recording, sometimes we don't, you know.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's not worth it. And now, the problem now is in the old days, when we needed an album, Paul and I got together and produced an album, or produced enough songs for it. Nowadays, there's 4 of us, 3 of us writing prolifically and trying to fit it on one album. And it's not like we're wrestling in the studio trying to get a song on. We all do it the same way, you know. We take it in turns to record a track, you know. But usually George lost out, you know, because Paul and I are tougher. You know, but it's not, well, it gets to, we don't want to fight about it, you know. Now, half the tracks on Abbey Road, I'm not on something. You know, half the tracks on the double album, and way back, it depends. We're not always on, there's sometimes only 2 Beatles on a track. But it's got to the situation, if we have the name Beatle on it, it sells, you know. And when we begin to think like that, then there's something wrong, you know.
Then you begin to get...
Well, then you begin to think, what are we selling?
Hey, can I have a word? Are the Beatles going to go their own ways in 1967?
They could be, you know, on our own or together. We're always involved with each other, whatever we're doing. You know.
Did you ever see a time when, in fact, you weren't working together?
I could see us working not together for a period, but we'd always get together for one reason or other. I mean, you need other people for ideas as well, you know, and we all get along fine.
Will you be doing films on your own next year?
No, I don't want to make a career of it. I did it just because I felt like doing it. And Dick Lester asked me, and I said yes. And I wouldn't have done it if the others hadn't liked it. You know. They said fine, because we were on holiday anyway.
Do the others have film ambitions on their own?
No, nobody's particularly interested in it. I'm not all that mad on it.
What do you really want to do? I mean, do you write songs?
I don't know, I just want to do a few things, you know.
And you haven't really decided exactly what...
No, I'll try a few things, you know, but I just found out a bit more about films doing that. You know.
What's the songwriting team thing will keep going on whatever happens, will it?
Yeah, we'll probably carry on writing music forever, you know, whatever else we're doing. Because you just can't stop, you know, you find yourself doing it whether you want to or not.
But you think the tours, like the American tours and the English one, you know, the stands in England...
You know, there must be a point where they don't work anymore because they're not to do with what we're doing, record-wise or film-wise.
Paul, good evening. Hello. John Edwards right here.
How are you?
Can I just have a brief word with you?
Yeah?
If you never toured again, would it worry you?
I don't know. No, I don't think so.
Wouldn't worry you?
But because the only thing about that, you see, is that performance for us, see, it's gone downhill, performance, because we can't develop when no one can hear us, you know what I mean? So for us to perform is, it's difficult, gets difficult each time.
You mean they don't
More
listen
difficult.
to you, and therefore you don't want to do that?
Oh yeah, we want to do it, but if we're not listened to, then, and we can't even hear ourselves, then we can't improve in that. We can't get any better. So we're trying to get better with things like recording.
How are you? Can I stop you? Well, have a brief word with you. Do you think that in the new year that you're going to be going your own ways instead of being a group?
No.
No?
No, definitely not.
What about another word? How are you?
Merry Christmas.
How are you?
Fine, fine.
Can I ask you a few questions?
Yes, yes.
Then I'll turn you around this way then, all right?
Which way?
This way. No, this
Hello?
way. You're looking very smart anyway.
Yes, well, I had a bath.
What's all this about that the Beatles are going to do less together in the new year?
Yeah, we won't be the thing is, you see, to do things together, the four of us, it's going to be the old things all over again, you know.
You
And
don't want to do that?
No, we don't want to do, you know, what we've done already. So the thing is, because of the film, you know, we can't get a decent script, but we're still trying for one. If we don't do that, we'll most probably all do something else different, you know, for next year.
On your own?
Yes, but I mean, it's not like breaking up. We'll still be coming back together at the end of it.
Do you foresee a time when, in fact, the Beatles won't be together and that you'll all be on your own?
No.
Do you get, have you got tired of each other?
No.
No? Have you got anything lined up on your own? Film
No.
parts, for example?
Well, there may be one if we don't do one together early next year. To save. See, I'm sort of out of it there because with John and Paul, they can still write even though we're sort of not working together. And George can, you know, learn his sitar and do things like that. And I've just been sitting round.
Getting bored?
No, getting fat.
Have you fed up of being sort of Beatles,
The thing is,
Beatlemania?
we can't do a tour like we've been doing all these years because our music's progressed. We've used more instruments. It'd be soft us going on stage, the four of us, and trying to do the records we've made with orchestras and, you know, bands and things. So we'd have to, if we went on stage, we'd have to have a whole lineup of men behind us.
Are you getting bored of being the Beatles after all this time?
No, I'm having a great time. Merry Christmas to you.
Embarrassing being a Beatle anyway, going into a shop, never mind going into a gallery, because they either all leap on you thinking, oh, here's another mug, you know, like a Texan, he'll buy anything. And I had a bit of a hang-up about art too, having been to art school, and disliked the sort of attitude of the so-called artist, you know. So anyway, I finally got to this show, and she had all these things on, like all these like hammer nail things, and that clock there, you listen to it to a stethoscope, all the things. And at first I reacted like a mug, you know, like the ones that they were saying they don't get a badge, you know. I was thinking, haha, don't fool me with all this junk, you know. So then there was this ladder and a thing on the ceiling. So I climbed the ladder, and on the ceiling it said, yes. You see, so I thought, oh, I agreed then. It's okay, you know. I mean, it's like those jokes, while you're looking at here, you're dribbling down your trousers and that thing. I mean, it's all sort of connected. I mean, people get a buzz out of that in the toilet, but if you put it on in a room, it upsets them a bit, because they've got preconceived ideas about where those messages should be. But it said yes. And if it had said no, well, I would have carried on with my preconceived ideas about art and artists, you know, that they're all sort of, yeah, sure. But it said yes, and that was enough, you know. And then she came up and said, she didn't know who I was, and was saying, do you like to hammer a nail in? It's 5 shillings. So I said, I didn't have any money, so I said, I'll hammer an imaginary nail in and give you an imaginary 5 shillings. And she agreed with that. She accepted that on the same basis as we accept her work, you know. I'd accepted her work, and that was how we met, actually.